Okay, welcome back everyone. So today is the third video that I'm making. I'm going to be talking mainly about the ABS system and the electronics on the bike. So we'll get started with what I've prepared here on the table. So this is an instrument cluster from a K1300 which crashed, and then I have a ZFE unit which is a ZFE high unit, and the BMSK. These three units, they're pretty much the same components as in this bike. The 1300 cluster, although it RPM scale is a bit higher, it's a difference in how the your speedometer is showing it. So like on a K1200, 280 somewhere down here. It's all the same. Connection is the same. The difference in this instrument cluster and in some of these components here is the actual software that's in them, and the coding for each of these individual units. So the unit itself has this in here. This is a printout of all the settings inside. So you've got settings like dampening factors for the fuel, things that are set to active, which I've got no clue about what FNB means. A few items you can pick out fairly easy. ASC, stability control, that's set to not active because I don't have it. Again, 05 model. So there's plenty of settings in here. A lot of it doesn't make sense if you don't have the program what's called NCS Dummy. NCS Dummy gives you a translation. I'll show you the program. Here's some of the wiring diagrams that I have. It's a program actually. NCS Dummy, here we go. Let me load it. So in NCS Dummy, so once you hook up your bike, I'll show you how to do that later then. Once you hook up the bike and you can read out the settings in each individual part. So your instrument cluster, ABS, BMSK, your alarm as well. I don't have an alarm, so I can't show you that. What else? Your tire pressure monitors, that can all be read through the program. The program is actually called NCS Expert. So when if I was to hook up my bike now, I can read the module, and then it gives me this. So this is just a printout of what the settings are at the moment. Now, to know what each individual setting means, go to. So these are the individual modules. There's different versions. So C01 would be, I guess, the first kind of module that they had. C07, your ZFEs. There's different versions of the ZFEs as well. So you got to find out which ZFE you have. When you hook it up for the first time, it's going to say here what kind of ZFE module you have, and that's the one that you will choose through here. Actually, the instrument cluster is probably not the best example to do this. I'll actually grab the ZFE unit, and there's a bit more items to explore. So ZFE, here's all the settings that I have, and I know that I have a ZFE 04, C04. Now here's the translation of what these values are. So the first one, PWMHH, step 1, that is about the heated grips, handler heat. So step 1 would be the first click on your handle heat. Mine is set to 40%, and step 2 is set to 80%. So I can change these values. I can set this to 100%. At 80% it's already really hot, so I'm not going to do that. This ZFE unit, the indicators are set to 10 seconds, 210 meters. So this is where it automatically shuts off. Now mine is I guess one of the first ZFE units that there is. It's called a ZFE Basic High, but Basic High doesn't mean that it's actually from you know, it could be in any bike. So you'd have to go by the part number. The higher the part number goes, the better the ZFE unit is. See, this ZFE unit, I can't change the distance for the turning indicators to turn off. So mine turn off at 210 meters. A newer version of a ZFE, you can set these values to even to maximum, so they would never turn off, and also the time to maximum. So this is just a bit of what this NCS dummy translation program lets you do with or the settings that you can put in each individual component. Here's about the fuel tank. So the ZFE, you can see that the ZFE is put into more than one bike. It's also put into a K28, which has a 19-liter tank. K40 is what we're using here. K25, 26. See, 18-liter tank for a K29. I don't know what a K29 is. I'd have to look it up. So, but you can see, so the ZFE is put into more than one bike. When you look up here and it says chassis, it says K24 chassis, and then you have in parentheses, don't even know, 867, K18, 19, 21, blah blah. These different models. So pretty much K24, I looked it up, is a GS, is a 1200 GS model. So the CAN bus system on the K1200 and 1300 bikes is actually based on a 1200 GS. So they kept reusing the same wiring, not the wiring loom is probably a difference in size, but the way the CAN bus is set up is the same as on a 1200 GS. That's why all these components are all interchangeable. Save money, don't want to recreate for each bike a new CAN bus system. So we'll stay with the ZFE, the ZFE unit. Let's see. One interesting thing that I did was I could turn my front light off. So when you turn the key on and your low beams turn on, and you don't start the bike, obviously everybody knows they're gonna drain the battery. So here you can turn this off. Let me see if I can find it. It's somewhere in here. Obviously, I could also look this up in the NCS dummy program. Let's go back into it. ZFE C04 and brake light speed, rear lights. Where's the configuration? There we go. So I think this was it. KL56B off when 56A. So KL56B1 is your front lights, your low beams. So low beams off when ignition on. 56A is ignition. So if these are the two values, active, enabled, or not active, not enabled. So I set mine to not enabled. When I turn the key, light stays off. There is a way to turn the lights off if you don't recode your bike to have the setting. I'm going to show you on a 05 model. I know that the R has just one single button, and 1300s also. They only have the single switch button for the turning indicators. I'm pretty certain it would be the same. So what I do on an 05, you hit the cancel button, you hold it for about 3-4 seconds, and then you immediately switch to your right hand blinker, and then hold it, and then the low beams will turn off. So I've already recoded mine. It's pretty neat because I played so much with the software. I don't have to do this step anymore. Other things that the ZFE has, for example, if you're putting in LED LED tail lights, the LED tail light throws you the fault, especially if you have the original one and you don't reprogram or recode this ZFE unit. So LED KL54 output is set here to not active. So if I were to put in the LED lights in here in the back for the brake lights, then I keep getting the fault. So you'd have to recode it and set it to active. K1300r is, I'm pretty certain that would be your KL54. 58. Let's see what this is. Not that let's see where this is. LED. Isa. No. I'm pretty certain that KL50. It's got to be one of the two. I can't remember which one it is. But these are the ones that you have to change if you put the LEDs in. You can also change your LEDs for the turning indicators. That would be also somewhere in here. Or you can turn off the rear bulb substitution era completely. So then it wouldn't even give you any more indication of that you're missing the light bulb or that it's broken. Your LED, there it is, LED front turn lamps, LED rear turn lamps. So if you change these out to LEDs, you recode it with these settings. So ZFE, talked about that now. I'm gonna explain now. I've seen a lot of people, they ask the same questions over and over. It has to do with the ABS. The ABS, here's the printout of the ABS. A lot of people complain, ABS failure, but that's not really accurate. The ABS in here, 05, what they call the servo assisted ABS unit. This ABS unit was not just put into the K1200 series 05 to 06. It was also put into our 1200 GS, the 1200 RT, 1200 ST, 1300R, and the 1200 GT. So there was thousands and thousands of bikes manufactured with this ABS unit, and if you go in a forum and you read that people had ABS failures and they nearly killed themselves, I'm not really the forum is a help forum. So anything that you read on a forum is always going to be about people having problems with their bike. so it does not give you an accurate average on how often this ABS unit fails. I have no problems with this ABS, and the fact that the front and rear brakes are uh, linked together. So pull the front brake, it gives braking to the rear as well. I personally like that. So I'm not sure if people say that they've nearly been killed because they lost all braking power. Is it because they've lost braking power going to the rear as well, or so I don't know. Thousands of bikes being built, and then you read that there is one failure every once in a blue moon, and yeah, I think most people would complain that the ABS module is so expensive. That is the first complaint. Costs about $2,000 and something, plus installation and whatever. I don't see much of a problem. You can have the same problem with the newer style ABS unit, and when people say, yeah, we lost all braking power, now they say all braking power was lost when the ABS unit failed. Now it gives you the warning label, so the brake system is servo assisted. Servo assisted is not available when the ignition is off. Yeah, my ignition is off, and let me pull the front lever. I don't know. I don't have any, like, if you're not capable, of pulling your handbrake a bit more than you're used to, and you crash, burn, and die, I don't really know that you're capable of even riding your bike, because if you're so used to that, just using one finger and then the rest is done by the ABS unit, if you're really used to riding like that, and you're not capable of fully pulling your handbrake, then, or your hand lever, I'm not even sure if you should be riding. Plus, I mean, I ride my bike sporty, but I don't go ridiculous. Yeah, this bike is 1200 cc's, and it's got what, 150 newton meters of torque and 100 and whatever horsepower. It's not a MotoGP bike. So if you're riding your bike as if you're riding MotoGP, then you should really expect that you lose control, even if your ABS fails. So this is my personal opinion about the servo assisted ABS. It works. It works great. I flush my system once a year. BMW recommends to do this every 2 years, but winter time, it rains, I got nothing else to do, I might as well go in the garage and do the maintenance. It takes, well, in my last flush I've used half a liter of brake fluid, so that's not really that expensive. It's just a bit time consuming. You got to take off all the fairings, tank, everything, and use the software that I'm going to show you later. So I'll show you what the ABS, how it works, at least electrically, and with the CAN bus. So there's two versions of this bike. One is my version that I have is the ABS version of the bike with the servo assist. Now, when you read, a lot of people say, well, how can we get rid of the ABS? So 2004, it was the first bikes came out in 2004, and then they took them back, and the official sale started in 2005. Now, in 2005, you can order this bike without ABS. Mainly, I think it was in England where you could order it without ABS. In the rest of Europe, it was mandatory to have the ABS. So this is how the ABS system works. you've got your front sensor, your rear sensor, and the lines go into your ABS unit. So the ABS unit can do its magic when you need it. Now the signal for your wheel speed is then put onto the CAN bus system. So there's no direct connection between your speed sensors that would go into your instrument cluster. The information about the wheel speed is put through the ABS unit and put into digital signals, and then ends up in your instrument cluster. So when you flog off the ABS unit, you just remove it and you say, oh great, now I can just connect this straight to the instrument cluster. It doesn't work. The instrument cluster is a computer. It has no direct input signals from anywhere. It only reads what is put onto the computer network. So the information about the wheel speed is put onto the network in data packets, and the ZFE unit reads the data package. The BMSK unit also reads the data package and rejects it because it's not interested. It has no interest in this data package. So the data package, when it's floating around in the CAN bus system, the identifier of the correct address is your instrument cluster. So then the information is turned into a signal, and turns the gauges. When people say, I want to remove this system, you're going to run into trouble, because the system on a non-ABS bike has the sensor in the front, and the information about the wheel speed is given to the ZFE unit. The ZFE unit then translates the signal into the CAN bus system, or puts it onto the CAN bus system, where it is then picked up again by the instrument cluster. So as you can see, there is no direct connection between your wheel speed sensor and your instrument cluster. The signal always goes through the CAN bus system. If you have the wiring diagram and a lot of time and know how to use the coding software NCS Expert, you can change it. You can change out the whole system, and then you also do the plumbing differently and everything. Then you set the values for where is it? Should be in here somewhere. Take the values out for the ABS, and here we go. So ABS presence, you got to set that to not active. You have to redo. You have to recode the instrument cluster, because in the instrument cluster there's the same thing, ABS not active. So then the instrument cluster knows that it's getting the information from the ZFE. So this taking out of the ABS module and rewiring the bike to be a non-ABS bike will be an absolute nightmare to anybody that has no knowledge about electronics and and software. I wouldn't. I mean, I know a lot. I can do a lot, but that would be something that not even I would touch, because if I were to do this wrong, and then yeah, no, I'm not gonna touch it. So this is a little bit about the ABS system, of how it works, and the two difference, ABS, non-ABS. Let's take this away. Now, what I found out is that, I mean, these items here, they were given to me as a loaner from a friend of mine here, Kiwi Matt. Big shout out to him. He also sold me the 1300 shifter setup, $50. Thanks a lot. So what I found out is that instrument clusters, I wanted to see if I can make this run on my bike. and I can. I had to change some of the settings in the instrument cluster, because this instrument cluster, going back to ABS, this instrument cluster is set up for the second generation ABS, so not the servo assisted, the second generation. When I hooked this up, when I turned the key on, my ABS unit, instantly the motors came on, and the pump motors, and they stayed on and they wouldn't turn off. So I had to change a few settings in here to tell the instrument cluster what sort of ABS module I have, and then recoded it, and then it turned it off. So I got this to work. The display in here is what they call the span display. So from 2006 onwards, they had the display looks different to the '05 model. I guess a bit more fancy in graphics, but doesn't really matter. Same, still shows the fuel and temperature and whatever kilometers. So I set my bike. Then you have to go back into the ZFE. Just a nightmare. If you really want to do all of this, you got to spend some time learning what the coding is. So I hooked this up, and it worked. RPM, kilometers per hour, everything worked. Just had it sitting. I took the windscreen off. Just had it sitting on top, and I went for a ride around the block. So it worked, but the kilometers were off. This bike crashed at 16,000 and something kilometers. My bike already has 49,000 kilometers. So it showed the kilometers from the crashed bike. Now this makes it. This I think is pretty shitty, considering that BMW has this CAN bus system, and they say that you can't change out components and just make it work. Well, it works because I've tried it. If you take out the cluster from a bike that has lower kilometers and you put it into a bike that has higher kilometers, that makes it, you could get frauded. There's always shady people out there, resetting or putting down the kilometers on their cars, and then sell you a car with 250,000 kilometers, and then it turns out it only has 80,000 kilometers. That's pretty shitty, and this could also happen to you. There's the information about kilometers is stored in here, and the information about kilometers is stored in your BMSK as well. So if you're looking at buying a bike, and this is 1200 and 1300, and the deal seems too good to be true, you can take your bike, take it to the dealer, and the dealer can read the kilometers on your BMSK. Now, not to say that you can go on eBay and people will sell you the BMSK, the ZFE, the instrument cluster, and pretty much all the computers, including the keys to the crashed bike or the parted out bike, and then replace all of these items and then put it in. Then you're 98% screwed. Only if you take it to the dealer can read what the computers are and when and where they were installed. So this is my bike. I've got the BMSK, ABS, the instrument cluster, and the ZFE. I don't have an alarm. I don't have a tire pressure monitor. So these are the four components that I have, and the components are they're coded with the VIN number to the bike. So my VIN number is ZL9965, and I'm not going to give you the last digit. So the BMSK and ABS controller have this number. Now I was playing with the software too much one day. I don't know why it happened. I recoded the instrument cluster and the ZFE, and all of a sudden it threw in a dummy number. So I got didn't get scared, but I thought, oh, this is shit. I've just wrecked my bike. Now that these VIN numbers, the two original VIN numbers and this dummy number, they don't match. I thought that my bike would, you know, turn the key and it's dead. And no, it isn't. I've been riding this now with the dummy numbers in these two modules, the instrument cluster and the ZFE. I've been riding it for the last 6 months and it hasn't done anything. So now I know that any instrument cluster, if you put the settings in correctly, that the instrument cluster can be just swapped over into a different bike, and yeah, that's pretty shitty. I would have thought that at least, you know, it'd give you some sort of a warning that the instrument cluster isn't coded to the BMSK controller. Yeah. Oh well. So that's that. Now I'm gonna go and show you the diagnostic software that I'm using. Now you can get GS911, which is what I've seen it only once. It's a neat tool, but it doesn't allow you to do as much as this does. Obviously, this is the original, the manufacturer's software. It's called INPA. Comes in a package with so these four items, they come in a package when you install it. WinkFP. WinkFP lets you reflash and recode. No, reflash, not recode. The flashing of the units. You know, for example, if you have a new software for the BMSK, you can reflash it with WinkFP. Now this program is really dangerous. If you load the wrong software into your BMSK controller, you pretty much just wreck your bike. So this is really really dangerous. The next program is called Tool 32. Let me open it. Ediabas toolset. Theoretically, this program would let you rewrite the programming in each individual component. So, for example, yeah, now for the tuning freaks, this could access the BMSK controller, and you can play around with the fuel settings. It doesn't work because this program needs to be connected to the BMW mothership in Germany. And if you change any values, any settings, any of the coding inside any of the controllers, you need to get a verification key, and they're not going to give that to you. So this program is useless. It's nice, you can read, you know, through certain stuff, and it tells you how each individual component, how it boots up once you turn the key. But it's useless because you're never going to get a verification key from BMW. And NCS Export, showed you that before. That's the program that lets you change the settings, and then you recode the bike. Like I said about the lights, brake lights. Now the main program that you're going to be interested in it's called INPA, INPA. Now this came with the KD-CAN controller that I bought. So that's the program that I'm going to show you. This is the original software, and so it has more than just motorbikes. So this is for all the different versions of BMW cars, special tests. There is just way too much to test. I mean, I don't have a BMW car, I only have the bike, so none of this is interesting to me. So we're looking at K40. So K40, now this program I'm running, I have a 1200, a K1200, and this program works with my K1200. I've hooked this program, version 5, I've hooked this program up to a 1300R, and for example, I couldn't get to the BMSK controller. My BMSK controller is called BMSK. Let me focus it. It's called BMSK, and then the part number. And the 1300s, they have a newer version of this BMSK controller. It's called a BMSK P. So the 2009 K1200 that I tried hooking up, it had this controller. So this software that I have didn't have the right files to open the BMSK on a 2009 K1300. There's newer versions of this, but I don't have it. I don't care because I have a 1200 and it works. So I'm not going to play around with it. Oh, I have to hook up the bike first, obviously. Let me just set you aside for a second. So, turn the key. And it doesn't recognize it again. Let's try this. Yep, there it is. So battery, this is in German. I speak German, so I'm going to give you a bit of translation. But when you install it, you can install this in English, so no problem. Battery is on, ignition is on. Hit Shift F4. Now it gives you. Let's do all the jobs on this bike. Now, but like I said before, if you're not sure about the kilometers and how this of what the bike is, if it's too good to be true, this is how the dealer would read out your bike. So to look at how the bike is coded, I hit F3. There we go. So this is what I printed out before. BMSK. Like again, I'm not going to show you my last digits, but you can see I've got the dummy number at the bottom, AB12345. So yeah, that's how you can tell what the coding is of the components and to what VIN number it's been coded. Let's see, hit Shift F4. Okay, let's go to ZFE. So there's a choice. Well, here's your here's the alarm, EWS. That has to do with your key. So if you end up buying a new key and you get it cut and ground, you can add a new key to your bike. That will be done through here, but you would have to have the key number. So when you buy the key at BMW, they're not going to sell you a blank key and give you the number as well. They're always going to want the VIN number, and it's going to be coded to your bike. And a new key, I think the previous owner of mine, he bought a new key because he lost it. It cost him like $200 for a key, and then it comes with the correct code and stuff. So yeah, let's go to ZFE high. Gives me a warning, wrong version. Still works somehow. Now let's see. Let's read the errors. If I have an error in my ZFE unit, oh, no error found. Let's go back F10, F6. F6 is controlling it. Let's go with lights. Anything to do with lights. Okay, so if you have trouble, your lights don't work, your blinker isn't working, you press the button, nothing is happening. You can do a diagnosis. Is it the button, or is it the ZFE, or is it the bulb itself? It could be one of the three. So if you hit the button and nothing happens, it could be two things: the button is broken or the ZFE is broken. A third option could be that there's a cable broken, but that's highly unlikely. Chafed cable. So let's see. Let's go with the low beam. If I hit F1 for low beam, I can turn the low beam on. Yep, works. And turn the low beam off, works as well. Right. What else can we do? Okay, blinkers. Alright, let's do the blinkers. F4. Now this is not going to make him blink, this is just going to turn them on. F2. Blinkers, yep. So blinkers are turned on. Now, as you can see, I've got these, I'm not sure if it's bright enough, here you go. I got these roundel indicators as well, so they blink yellow. Pretty neat. Everything here is flashing, and when the blinker is off, this is all red. Pretty cool at night. Comes in different colors. You can have white, blue, I think green. When you buy it, just look on eBay, and then the guy will ask you what colors you want, and then you just wire it in. Pretty neat. Costs €100. So I did that a few years ago, and so let me turn the blinkers off. Now hooking this up to the bike, the computer to the bike, and running the diagnostic software, you have about an hour and a half before the battery starts draining, and you have to turn your low beams off. So if they turn on automatically, you have to turn the low beams off, otherwise you're going to be dead, within an hour. But I've already talked about that, how to do that. Arrow again. Now brake lights. Let's just hit the brake lights. All right, so brake lights 90%. Hit F6. Yep, there you go. Brake light turns on. Turn this off. Perfect. Works as well. F10. Yep, arrow again. Now let's go back. Here I can do, you can calibrate. This is also for your GS911. You can calibrate your fuel level sensor. Make sure it's empty, that the fuel tank is empty. Don't calibrate when there's fuel in there. ESA, I can calibrate my ESA. F5. Now it says here ESA is not calibrated. If I do the calibration run, it then will say here that it is calibrated. If I go out of this menu and go back in, it's going to say ESA is not calibrated. I guess it's a glitch in the software. I know that I've done it before, so can't really care. Now let's see, digital inputs. You can get the inputs. F2. Digital inputs. Okay, so this is how you. We're still in the ZFE unit. So if your lights aren't turning, or if your turning indicators are not turning on, and if you have problem, this is where you can test the buttons. So let's say the first two here is your heated grip. So I'm gonna flick the switch on my heated grips. So first step, yep, turns on. Second step turns on, and then it shows that the heated grip button is active on both settings. Yep, turn it off. There you go. Cancel. This is the cancel button for the turning indicators. So let me hit the cancel button, and then you have to hold it. Yep, there you go. Let's do the blinker. Bring the blinker left. Yep, and they actually blink. Oh, here I can show you how that looks. Obviously, it's not really dark in here. So the red turns off, the yellow turns on when it's blinking. Pretty neat. Let's cancel this. Yep, cancel button works. I can test the ESA button. Now this is for the GT models. If you have the cruise control, you hit the cruise control button. That would be this one. I don't have it, so I can't do it. I don't even have the board computer as well, so I can't do this. So that's that. This is only the ZFE. Let's do this again. Shift F4. Nope. Shift F4. Let's go to the instrument cluster. Let's see if I have an error in my instrument cluster. Now, I know that my battery died the other day, so I expect that there should be an error in there. Yep, there we go. So when I had this, my battery died. Hasn't been the best battery in the last couple of weeks, so as I was shooting this video before, it really threw out I couldn't start it, and every time I hit the start button, the whole bike would reboot. So the battery went down to 8.9 volt, and that makes it an error, and it's saved in here in the instrument cluster. This error, I've already done in the previous video. I've already deleted the error. It would show up in every pretty much in every computer in the bike. So instrument cluster, BMSK, and ABS and everything. So I guess I didn't delete it out of the instrument cluster, but it just shows you where it also saves errors. So let me hit F2, delete. Yep, it was deleted. Hit F1 to read again, and the error is gone. Now if I leave the bike hooked up for another hour or so, I'm gonna have the same error. Let's see, F6 control. Now I can run self-diagnostics, which is just gonna be turning on every LED element, everything. So let me do that. So hit F6 and watch what happens to the instrument cluster. Now this self-test would continue until forever, until I tell it to stop. So I'm going to say F4, stop, and the instrument cluster has returned to normal. Just to show you that, there you go. Let's go back, F10, fairly boring. I can, well, that's pretty neat. So you can even just control either your RPM or your speedometer. So I'm going to show you how shitty the speedometer is. So when you want to upload a video maximum speed of your bike, and it shows 280 kilometers an hour, which supposedly is the maximum speed, and the needle is at 280. I'll show you what it actually is. So no, it doesn't even go to 200. Let's say 100 kilometers an hour, which would be what, 65 miles. All right, so I'm gonna tell the instrument cluster to show 100 kilometers an hour. Okay, I'm gonna hit F4 and see what it indicates. It's about 95 kilometers an hour. This gets worse the higher you go. Let's do 200 kilometers an hour. So hit Shift F6. Now here is 200 kilometers an hour. It's only showing 190, maybe 192. Yeah, so this is how they get you. Your bike shows more what you're actually doing. I guess This is to keep you off from speeding. So Shift F4, Shift F7 maximum that I can take here. So this is 240 kilometers an hour, and 240 kilometers is display as 230. So yeah, let's go out of here. Shift F10. Now the RPM, that's fairly precise. Well, it is actually precise. So let's do F5 for 7,000 RPM, and it is spot on 7,000 RPM. What else can we do? F10 exit. Yeah, you can change, well, not change it, but you can test the LED segments on their own. So ABS warning, well, that's already blinking anyway, so I know that. Well, I can turn off all LEDs, so let's hit F9, all LEDs off. Oh, wrong way, I gotta turn them on. Alright, so now all the LEDs are on. This is just playing around with it to show you. I mean, this software here, it has so many sub menus in each individual computer that you can test. So I could talk for like I could talk for hours here and show you everything. This is more of an overview. So F10. Shift F4. Let's go into the motor, EMSK. Now here F6. So I can test certain items here. I can test if the fan would turn on. So I can turn the fan. So if I start F1. Yep, fan is on. Hit F9, turn the fan off. Yep. So there's many things that you can do with the BMSK. Stepper 1 and 2. So you've got your two steppers. One's your full throttle stepper, and the other one's the idle controller. You can synchronize them. So I'm gonna hit F3, and you can hear it. Yep, so they're synchronized. Now this your GS911 won't be able to do this. It doesn't have all of these features. That's why I like this software more, although it's a bit difficult, to find the right submenu. What else can you do here? Well, now it has inputs. So here the CAN signals, what is given through the CAN bus. So let's see what the the CAN bus, the computer network. Here is stuff that comes from the ZFE, the ABS, and the instrument cluster. So you can see that they're interconnected back to the BMSK. So let's see what information is given from the ZFE unit. KL15, I think that's your ignition. That's pretty much it. Let's do this again. What signal comes in from the ABS? Oh, see, there you go. So here it shows you that the BMSK gets the signal for how fast you're going from your ABS unit. So now I've got a center stand, so the front wheel is on the ground, but I can turn my rear wheel, and you can see Yep. So I'm turning with my foot here, the rear wheel, and yep, there you go. Let's see, status F2, and what comes from the instrument cluster. See, there you go. So the instrument cluster shows 49,585 kilometers. The information of how many kilometers is also saved in the BMSK controller. So when I hooked up the other instrument cluster that I had, this was showing 16,000 kilometers. F10, what else? Status digital. Digital inputs. F2. Okay, so here I can test. For example, I can test, is my side stand, is the switch working? Yep. So this is in, retracted, and now the side stand switch shows that it's down. This is your oil level. I don't have an oil level sensor. It wasn't built into this bike. What else? Your kill switch. What position your kill switch is in. Yep, kill switch works as well. Let's see, F10, go back. I mean, there's so much stuff to go. Let's see, F5, I'll hit F5. Alright, so this is your, these are the values for when the engine is running. This is your injection in milliseconds. Your can't even translate it on the go. These are the NOx sensors. They have to have a certain value when the engine is running. Your ignition. These are the ignition. This is the degree of ignition based on the crankshaft. Your camshaft sensor. The pressure, your ambient air pressure at the moment, because the bike needs to know how high or low we are. So at the moment we're at what, 991 hectopascal. Now I can play around. I'll show you some other stuff that I'm doing. Obviously I'm an aircraft mechanic, so let's set this this altimeter that I took out of an airplane, which works. Let's set this to 991 hectopascal, and I can see that where I live, my altitude at my house is 280 feet. So I live fairly close to the coast. I'm only at 280 feet, which is what, just above 100 and something meters of sea level. That's just one thing. I mean, this software is so intensive. If you download it, actually you buy this. This is what you need. The KDCAN USB interface, INPA compatible. INPA is the software. Somebody on a forum posted that you should buy the one with the green circuit board. I did. There's supposed to be a white circuit board as well, and it doesn't work. So you need to buy the interface, and then you need an adapter cable that goes into the back of the diagnostics plug, and then install the software. Now this is not, if you're only using Microsoft Word and Excel and a bit of Microsoft Paint, and you have got no clue about computers, you do have to change a few settings on your computer as well to get this all running. So it's not just click install and OK. There's a bit more to it. There's good videos on YouTube as well about how to set this up. So that's about it. I hope you guys liked the videos that I've done. And obviously I could talk for hours about these bikes. I've done a lot of research now, internet, books, and so you might think that I keep repeating myself in certain sections, but I'm not using a teleprompter. I'm not a American politician. I don't have a teleprompter, so this comes all out of my head. So I hope you like the videos. Leave your comments, and I'll see if I can post a few more. So join the forum, ibmw.com. It's a really unique forum. A lot of nice people there and a lot of knowledge. And you can see some of my posts on there as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.